I started watching it last night, but we'll watch it right here. Scaro put out this video. 5 big worries I have about the Edge of Fate.
We are like 6 weeks away from Edge of Fate, and there's a ton of changes coming with the expansion itself. So while the expansion might not be the biggest thing ever, there's like a lot of things that are going to be changing, and I like some of it, and some of it has me worried. And so I want to talk about all of that. So I'm going to release a 2-piece video series going over the things I'm worried about and the things I'm excited for. Today, we're going to start with the things I'm worried about because analytics, baby. But there are 5 things that I'm worried about. I'm not sold.
Good, Scaro. Good. Yes. Feed into it.
That these are like definite negatives or that they won't be addressed by Bungie. But these are things that right now, as it sits with as much information that we know, I'm left worried about it. And so that's really what I want to talk about. So the first thing, for instance, is the soft sunsetting of the director. So if you don't know, we're getting the brand new portal screen. Bungie's intention is for all new activities, all new locations, everything to be accessed through the portal screen. Things like the new destination Kepler, you would probably think will be on the director. Not the case. Bungie's intention, I actually asked this in the middle of our recording session, how do I even access Kepler? I was having a ridiculously hard time finding it. And that's because it's not on the director. You have to go into a subset of subset screens within the portal to find it. And it was incredibly frustrating to find in the first place. And then...
That's not good. What's the reason for that? Like, is it just to get us to use the portal? Like, you know what I mean? Or is it to save on UI space, or that you don't have to design an area on the destination menu?
I just kept bringing it up, and everyone, all the other creators that were there with me, definitely agreed. The director just has so much soul. It is kind of like a fundamental part of Destiny's identity at this point, and it has been for over a decade now. And it's just a shame. The director's not going away. It'll still be there, but it'll just always exist in its current form, which I think is a shame. They're not putting Kepler on it. Wherever we go in Renegades, they're not going to put on it. And I really hope they reconsider that.
Brother, no, that's not good. My thought process was you would have the portal, but you would still have the director, and that would be updated expansion to expansion. It doesn't make, the only thing because you can't just Fortnite this thing. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, we're going to slap on a menu and now this is this episode's content. Go, you know what I'm coming from? And then it's also going to be kind of confusing. It's like, all right, so the director, you're not visibly seeing where you were going. It's just the same destinations, but not updated with the new stuff. Now, there is always the director always does get redone every expansion. You know what I mean? You take a look at it. It's every expansion, it gets redone, and you see destinations get moved around. Bungie moved this here, there, all over the place. The Pelhard here, of course. I don't know. Do they think it's just too crowded? I'm gonna be honest, just get rid of Neptune. I fucking forget that even exists. Bungie, you clear out this whole box over here. Here's what I would prefer. I would rather have older destinations either moved to a sub menu and the newer destinations shown visibly versus the other way around.
Because I think that is a huge mistake, personally. The second one, how they're limiting build crafting. So a lot of Armor 3.0 is deepening the depth of it's simplifying the front end, but then it's really deepening armor grinding or build crafting in a way where it's okay, if you want to be this type of player, you might have to spend a little bit more time farming the armor or getting the tier 5s or whatever, but you can get it. And there's the things like the tuning stat mods that add additional levers to that chase and that sort of thing. But one thing I really don't like that they're doing is only giving us 6 archetypes at the start, and 2 of them, for instance, I think the health stat is a complete dead stat. So really, there's only 4-ish archetypes that I might even be interested in. And if I really just want to build into things like weapons and grenades, or weapons and melee, or weapons and super, or something like that, then I have 2 options, really, or maybe 3. And I think that is a mistake. I personally probably would have launched with 12 or 18 archetypes to give even more combinations. I'm not sure if this is Bungie's way of soft testing the system or just like trying not to overwhelm players initially or whatever. And we don't know how often they're going to add more archetypes. Are we going to get 6 more with Renegades, for instance? That would be better, in my opinion. But I just think like completely gutting the armor system, changing it, and then being like, okay, you have 6 options to build everything from is incredibly limiting. And it's something I'm not a huge fan of, and I'm very skeptical of. So that definitely has me worried. 3, solo ops. They've spent a lot of time hyping up solo ops. And for some people, these might be like your activity. For me, they were boring. They were very boring. Some of them literally had 10 enemies, and you were just like, they're essentially like, the way I think about them is like lost sectors, but instead of in a lost sector, they are like in a patrol space. And it's just longer. So you're just like running. But there's like a boss at the end. There might be like one small mechanic you have to do, like shoot the darkness splinters or whatever. Defend this thing, just like a lost sector. But just not fun. And that's a big shame, because I think there are other examples of really good solo opportunities. So for instance, Destiny Rising, the 9 game mode, where that it's a short solo roguelite. And you're just like, you pick buffs and you're running through. I know that's so much fun. A lot of work, but it's like infinitely more interesting than kill 10 enemies and run half a mile.
It's so much better.
Loot. So I think solo ops need a lot of work, and I'm a little worried about that, because this kind of goes into the 4th point I want to talk about. Seasonal activities, destination stuff, activities. We haven't really seen a lot of that. It's my understanding that the destination doesn't have lost sectors. And the reason it doesn't have lost sectors is because that work went into solo ops. And so what else got sacrificed for that? Like, does this DLC have a strike? They haven't mentioned it. If it does the destination, does Kepler have a destination activity? Overflow, is that what it's called? Overflow, the one in the Pale Heart, was sick. It was awesome. That was probably the best destination activity we've ever had. Very fun. Put a lot of time into it, kept people engaged for a long time. Is there anything like that on Kepler? Because I haven't seen anything to suggest there's anything like that on Kepler. And so like, where's the replayability? Are we, the portal's sick. And the fact that they're bringing in old activities like Wrathborn Hunts, like Savathûn Spire, that's really cool. But if for the new season, I'm getting excited about grinding only old stuff, I think that's a problem. There should also be new stuff in there that's not like so.
Again, everything is going to fall on the back of this new take on exploring Kepler. And I think that is an incredible burden for a formula we know some things about, but it's like, it's also one of the things, like I've already seen some of your comments like, dude, what? I'm going to be playing with Deep Sight 2.0. I don't give a shit about these abilities. I got to do puzzles now. I just want to slay. You know where I'm coming from? It's risky, man. It really is risky. The other side of things is like, where's the sex appeal? That's the other thing. And I'm not talking about Gunner bait out here. I'm talking about where is the expansion's sex appeal? It's things that are sexy. New subclass. That's an easy one. That's a freebie. You know what I mean? Hey, why should I buy this expansion? You want the green shit? Huh? You want the blue shit? You want the rainbow shit? Buy it. Easy. An easy sell, right? Sex appeal. Maximum 10, 11, right? Other things that falls in line with that sex appeal. A new rarity. When we thought we were gonna get black armory, and people were like, brother, there's gonna be a new rarity. It's gonna be a black rarity now. When you look at your weapon, it's gonna be blacked out, all this stuff. Dude, sexy. Get easy. That's hot. There are things that are just easy sells. The problem is turning into a ball and going into a pipe and charging a pylon. Is that sexy enough? I hope it is. It may be. To some people, you may be bricked right now. I don't know. Maybe I kind of, you know what I mean? Like semi. There's some appeal to it. I get the, you know what I mean? But it's kind of a hard sell. You know what I mean?
So I hope Kepler has a cool activity that's maybe part of that. I hope there's a strike. That'd be kind of a shame if there wasn't. We also don't know what the season's bringing. So we know, like, for instance, Fire and Ash is coming 3 months after the launch of Edge of Fate. That'll have its own stuff. But does, like, the first third of the season have its own stuff? Like, there's just a lot of information here that we don't have, and that worries me because we are 6 weeks out, and all of the, all of their messaging is, oh, the grind is back. You're going to be playing a lot. We want the hobby game to be here. But all we have to show for that are like returning old activities, the most boring solo op like activities I could think of, and then like short events, which the short events are really cool, like Arms Week and Heavy Metal. I'm a big fan personally, but where's the new grindy activities? I want to see more of those. So very curious and a little worried about that since they've been so radio silent, but I'm interested to see what they reveal, or if there is anything to reveal, I guess. And then the final one, and I am genuinely so worried about this, and this is not meant to be me like calling out anyone, but so much of the refocusing with the tier 5 weapons and the tier 5 armor and the shiny grind and all of this stuff is focused on in the new light leveling system. It's all, hey, we're bringing the grind back to Destiny. But I'm genuinely worried that a large part of the Destiny community doesn't like to grind anymore. And I think this is a consequence of, a number of years of, simplification and casualification of Destiny. Really starting around Beyond Light or Witch Queen with crafted weapons and requiring you to play game modes less and less and less to get the best things in the game.
What Scaro's trying to say is all you motherfuckers have turned into casual bitches over the years, and you don't have it in you to get the grind on anymore. Of course, he's saying it in a much more diplomatic way.
And making generally activities like Grandmaster Nightfalls easier and easier and easier and easier, and stopping people from really pushing themselves. And that's fine. If that's how you like to play the game, that's totally fine. But so much of what they are doing is, hey, you're going to have to be playing like a lot more of this. You're going to be getting rewarded, but if you want the best rewards, you have to play a ton and you have to grind a ton and you're going to have to do hard content. And while that excites someone like me, who's been doing this the entire time and has been very anti things like crafting this entire time, I'm not sure how the general population of Destiny is going to respond to that, and that does worry me. I'm also...
How are you guys going to respond to that? If Destiny's something like, hey, bitch, 40 hours. I want it every week. You got to put it up if you want the best of the best. W, hell yeah. Not going to happen. The casuals. I'm leaving. Lick my ass. Well, this is great. I honestly feel like this is the best. I mean, I love the variety of opinions here. And that's the way it should be. My thing is this. If you're going to require me to grind, all right, I'll grind. But dude, is that enhanced origin trait really going to be worth it? You know what I'm saying? Is that thing really going to be fucking worth it? I hope. Like what I'm saying, like if a tier 3 drop to tier 5 is not significant enough there in difference, just give me the tier 3, I suppose. You know what I mean? For PvP though, yeah. Have you seen the PvP player population right now? We're not exactly thriving. Okay, I'm just and that's the other thing too. Inside of PvE, if it's just small stat bumps, the +2s and +3s, no one really cares about that in PvE. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like really, that shit doesn't matter inside of PvE. The only time stat bumps really matters inside of PvP, where you're like, dude, maybe if I had more range or more stability, I would have had, I wouldn't have received damage fall off, and I would have gotten that 3-tap or something, right? Inside of PvP, those little minuscule amounts of stat bumps can make a difference. But inside of PvE, you care about your perks, you care about the duration of your perks, and you care about perk synergies, and that's about it. The only other thing I can think of is like in the case of like enhanced origin traits, that is interesting. Like if that makes a big difference, okay. I mean, yeah.
Also not a huge fan of light leveling in general. Like I like the idea of, oh, you have to push yourself harder and harder content. I am quite worried about, we'll call this a bonus 6th thing I'm worried about. I'm quite worried about like enhancement cores or infusion material getting annoying, because right now, like every time I have to go to the tower to get enhancement cores, I like immediately just lose interest in whatever I'm doing. It is the worst part of the game. I hate light leveling. And now that they're making it essentially the seasonal model, I'm quite worried about that. So we'll just have to see what that looks like. But there's nothing wrong if you like.
Bungie, you got to remove the glimmer cap too. Like if materials are going to be such a big part of our day-to-day grind, you got to increase that glimmer cap. Do we have a confirmation on that, on the glimmer cap? Removing the glimmer cap would break the economy. They only should raise it. What fucking economy you're talking about, Gut Punch? It's not like we have a damn black market or we trade shit. What economy are you? What do you speak? This is not an economy. We don't have an economy. There is no fucking economy in Destiny. I wish I could actually buy something of real fucking value. All glimmer caps do, all it does is extend my frustration. That's all it does. Extends my frustration and makes me grind bullshit.
I think crafting has a big part in the game as like a catch-up mechanic, or like invigorating old content, like when they do it for old raids. I think that's cool. I just think like crafting in new, especially hard content like raids, is always a mistake, and I don't think they should do that. And I'm worried that sort of behavior has altered a lot of the composition of the Destiny community, the mindsets of the Destiny community, and the willingness of people in this community to spend a lot of time grinding for things and pushing themselves to do harder content. Very worried about that. We'll have to see how that turns out. But yeah, those are 5-6-ish things, I guess, that I'm worried about. Hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll have something going over all the things I'm excited about, because I think there are genuinely a lot of great changes coming to the Edge of Fate that I'm very excited about. Let me know what you're most worried about down below, and I hope you have a good day. See you.
Good video, Skiro. Good video, man. Look, here's the thing. I just wish the crafting system could have been expanded upon rather than just thrown out. And I know a lot of people are going to say, but crafting ruined Destiny. Okay. But it was in the game. It was brought to us. It was put in the game. It was a big focus of Witch Queen. It's fucking here. Or it was here, right? It was here. And I love the idea of having Val orbs. I just want fucking corruption orbs, and the idea of corrupting my pieces of gear would have added another level of RNG that could have intertwined with crafting inside of Destiny. And I feel like there's a system that could have incorporated both. You would have still, if whoever that wanted higher player retention, you get that with the RNG in Val orbs. There's something on that level for crafting. I would have liked that. These are all like, I mean, no lights. Skills did a really good job in this video. These are all things to be concerned about. At this other side of things is, I'm kind of like at that point where I'm just like, there's nothing that can be, there's really nothing that can be done right now. We're going in this bitch here in the next month. Ain't nothing gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like there may be some small tweaks, but as far as like Kepler, what it is, the activities, the destination, how we're exploring the Metrovania style, the abilities that are tied to that, the portal. About the only thing that might change is maybe like the directory and actually being able to add Kepler to the directory. But like for the most part, what you've seen is what we getting. And there's really nothing else we're going to do. And at this point, it's just like, I'm just going to play it. It's either going to be great. And it's like, oh, wow. And that's the other side of things too. It's like when you're sitting in front of developers of any game and they have a creative vision for something, you could just be like, bro, that sounds like ass. You know what I mean? But you're also not seeing it in its full scope yet either. You're seeing bits and pieces. And so you give feedback on those bits and pieces. But it's like, at some point, you're almost like, all right, man, you obviously are passionate about this. Cook. If you're right, you're right. And I came into Final Shape pretty skeptical until we saw Prismatic. And I was like, oh, that's fucking dope. But I did go, initially last year, January through March, April, I was very skeptical. I thought Final Shape was going to flop. And I really thought that. I was like, man, because just the layoffs and the delays and everything else. But then they cooked. You know what I mean? And so this is their thing. They obviously have a vision for this. And maybe, just maybe, the way we explore Kepler ends up being something that's like, wow, Bungie's really onto something here. This is great. All right. I will say these are some big worries, but we'll be tuning in for the things that are most exciting. I think the big thing, again, the thing that as a build crafter, like I am excited, and I'm also willing to see like, okay, what is this vision for Destiny going forward? But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.